the relentless pursuit of a dream. Sometimes, perseverance transforms into a bittersweet tale. Despite unwavering determination, the journey's conclusion may unfold with unexpected shadows, reminding youth that not every story of resilience finds its way to the light. Ali Sadpara, Txikon, and Simone Moro achieved the first winter ascent of Nanga Parbat, the ninth highest mountain in the world. However, 5 years later, Daniele Nardi and Ballard disappeared on the dangerous Mummery Spur, never to be seen alive again. The facts begins in January 2016, when Sadpara and Txikon, along with Adam Bielicki and Jacek Czech of Poland and Daniele Nardi of Italy, began work on the Kinshoffer route. Italians Moro and Tamara Langer were also on the mountain, attempting the Messner line. However, dangerous conditions prompted them to join the Kinshoffer team, who by that time had fixed a rope to 6,700 meters. Although climbers were willing to join forces on the normal rope before that final summit push, disagreements and colliding egos were an issue. The Polish quit after Bielicki suffered an ugly 80 meters fall that he blamed on the Spaniards' poor quality rope. Nardi also had arguments in base camp, and when Moro, Txikon, and Langer agreed to climb together, he felt abandoned. He either had to make a solo attempt or go home. He went home. When a summit window opened, the remaining climbers went up to the top of the fixed ropes, and then continued unroped. No one used oxygen. Langer retreated 100 meters from the summit and made it down on her own. Sadpara summited shortly after 3 p.m. on February 26, 2016. Txikon and Moro quickly followed, in a rather strong wind. Moro thus became the first climber with the 4 winter firsts on 8,000 meters peaks. The others were Shija Pagma, Makalu, and Gajenbrun second. Meanwhile, Ali Sadpara became the first Pakistani to summit a winter 8,000. Unfortunately, Sadpara is not around to celebrate their success. He perished on the winter K2 in 2021. But in 2016, Nanga Parbat was the 13th 8,000 to be climbed in the winter. Only K2 remained. Daniele Nardi attempted to Nanga Parbat's Mummery Spur for the first time in 2013 with Elisabeth Revol of France. He then returned for the 3 following winters, without success. The 2016 attempt, when others summited and he fell shanty-side, was particularly bitter. In 2019, he was again determined to climb the Omnios Color, which goes up to 6,700 meters, then continue to the summit. On each attempt, Nardi had different partners. Only seemed ready to repeat the Mummery Spur experience. On the 2019, try his 5th, he teamed up with Tom Ballard. Ballard, a young Briton, was making a name for himself in the European climbing community. The son of UK legend Alison Hargreaves, he had done some impressive climbs on his own. These include soloing the 6 major faces of the Alps in a single winter. local climbers Karim Ayat and Ramatwala Bag joining them for the adventure, but it was hard to stay motivated through weeks of bad weather, which buried hiker camps under avalanches. The Pakistanis eventually left, but Ballard and Nardi refused to quit, even as the end of the winter approached. Finally, on February 22, 2019, the weather improved, but it was a trap. They reached Camp 2 that day and continued up the following morning. They checked in from Camp 3, but didn't stop there. Instead, they pitched a fourth camp at 6,000 meters. On February 24th, they continued, but around 6,300 meters, they raided their cook in base camp that were going to retreat to Camp 4. It was already 7 p.m. and the weather was bad. That was the last news anyone had from them. 2 days later, the cook and the liaison officer in base camp raised the alarm. There was no one else on the mountain, but Karim Ayat and Ulagh Beg came back from home to help, and Alex Txikon's team flew there from K2. Txikon's team scouted the road on foot as high up as the severe avalanche risk allowed. They were among the first team to use drones at high altitude. Thanks to this, they were able to scout the rest of the spur. They confirmed that the silhouettes they had seen through the telescope from base camp were indeed the lifeless body of the two climbers. They observed that an avalanche had not swept them down. We could see that the rope above them was light, Txikon said. I can't tell for sure, but I believe that either they fell or possibly they were too cold and tired during the descent, and they froze when the temperature dropped at the sunset. Nardi and Ballard were the 84th and 85th victims on Nanga Parbat. Nardi was obsessed with Nanga Parbat. At the same time, he was no newbie or responsible. He knew perfectly well what he was doing. I saw his hiker camps. They were neat, perfectly equipped, and ready for a well-planned climb, told Txikon at the media. Since then, the Mummery Spurs have never climbed again. Reinhold Messner considered it a suicidal route. Thank you for watching and see you in next story.